Hello, I am back. Not that I have been anywhere, I've just not posted because I'm a lazy bugger. So, there we go. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Anthea and I'm sick. If you can't tell already, I'm sick and it sucks. Here we are. So, what are we going to be doing today? We are going... Oh, the background is a mess. I need to shovel. Oh, it's just... Talking is a little bit difficult. Yes, so I am sick. I'm feeling ill for like a week now, which is always great and always fun. What I want to do today is do some reading because reading helps remove a cold. Anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing. I'm feeling delusional right now because the cold is making my head. You know, I think you know what I mean. I think you've gone through this before and you know what I mean. I have, and because I'm talking, the kitty cat, he's coming. Here he is. So I want to read some books. Obviously, in this vlog, I'm going to be reading some books. I got some books from the library. So we shall see if we can get through some of those. I want some kind of a mixture of light, fun, whatever kind of books and also like other books thrown in. So that's what we're going to be doing. I did actually finish off, whatchamacallit, what's that book called? See, this is what happens when you're ill. Your memory just goes. But I read that book, The Queen of Nothing. I read The Queen of Nothing and it was wonderful. So here we are and I am here. Obviously, I don't know what's going on. Okay, the books I got from the library. Right, here, let's do this. We got really good actually. Which is great because I'm not good right now, but I didn't realize. Yeah, really good actually, by Monica Monica Hazy, I think. And it's about a woman who has just divorced her husband, or her husband and her got divorced. She's like in her late 20s and I think we follow her through her like first year of being a newly divorced individual. And yeah, I just wanted to have a read because it looked kind of fun. Then the next book that I do have on the list is Emily Henry's You and Me on Vacation. I am not on vacation, I am ill. But this might make me feel like I am on holiday. So I am gonna read this and see how it goes. Do I know what it's about? Of course not. Of course I don't. But what I do know is that it's two best friends, 10 summer trips, and their last chance to fall in love. Isn't that sweet? It's great. And then the next one I have is this is gonna be fun to edit. The next one I have is Stephen King's The Institute. This is a fantasy-ish, I believe, and I believe it's about like a kid who gets taken to an institute for other children who have very special very special powers, but they get like experimented on and things like that. So they like the powers I think they have is like telepathy, that kind of stuff. No, I'm not gonna say that word, but yeah, like telepathic, that kind of stuff. I don't know. It just seems kind of cool. So I borrowed that book as well. And then the next book I have is another Stephen King fairy tale, and this one is about a boy, a young man who befriends a dog and an old man, and then the old man one day dies, but then the old man kind of tells the boy about a what is it? A locked shed. So the old man has a locked shed and he tells the young boy about the world that actually is within this shed. And I don't really know what it's about either, but we will see. And do I expect myself to actually read through all 4 of these books? Absolutely not. But I just wanted to show you the books I did get from the library. So those are the 4 books I got from the library. I have a ton of books upstairs that I own as well, and on my Kindle, so this vlog may contain 1 or 2 of the books that I've just shown you. It might contain other books. We will see how I feel. We will see how the cold makes me feel. It might even be that I won't be able to finish 1 bloody book because I feel like shite, but we will see how it goes. That's the plan for today. Maybe for the weekend as well. It is Friday today. Maybe for the weekend it's what I'll be doing as well, because I can't imagine doing anything else but just lying on the sofa like a lump and just doing nothing but read, basically. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you for joining. Okay, see you in a bit. Hello, here we are. I got distracted by Ashlyn Kaylee, one of her videos. I love her videos, so I ended up watching her video for like 30 minutes, but I am back now and let's get started. Alrighty, so a quick update for you guys. This is interesting, it's a new angle for me, so we will see how this goes. This is clearly the next day. I've got a new t-shirt on, or a new top on. Street Fighter, baby. Still a little bit ill, but actually feeling a bit better today, which is grand. Updates on you and me on vacation. I am about 100 pages into this book now, and I am quite enjoying it. I do quite like it. I like Emily Henry's writing. It's like the way that she writes her characters makes them feel quite real, quite alive, and like the dialogue as well, I feel like it's quite realistic. And basically in this book we are following Poppy. She is I think she works for like, not a travel agency, but like a company that promotes different cities and countries to go visit, kind of like a blog, like a travel blog, I think. And she's like one of those people who within the company, she goes traveling to these different destinations, and she writes about like the experiences and what you can do there, that kind of stuff. So that's like what she does. And I believe it all like began when her and her friend Alex, back when they were in college, they would have these summer trips together, and they would like find all these different areas and different cities and things like that to go to and explore together. And we're basically following Poppy, and she is, you know, in her like mid-20s at this point, and she hasn't spoken to Alex for the past 2 years because something had happened in that last summer trip that they took together. They haven't said what the reason was at the moment so far in the book. But now that they have kind of like, Poppy and Alex have started talking to each other again, they are going on kind of another summer trip together, I guess, to almost rekindle their friendship. It's like Poppy's idea of, you know, to just try and rekindle that friendship again. So we're just kind of following them on their trip. They've only just embarked on this trip at the moment. So yeah, so it's pretty fun, pretty lighthearted. I would say that some of the dialogue, even though they are supposed to be like best friends, or they were best friends, the way that Poppy, because it's the first person point of view, we obviously see it all from Poppy's perspective, and the way that she kind of thinks in a monologue of when Alex texts her back after not texting each other for so long, it's like she's really giddy, she's excited. But the way that it's described, to me anyway, the way that that's been described feels more like she's already like in love with him in a way, but she doesn't realize it. At least that's how it feels like to me, as opposed to like a best friend that you haven't spoken to for 2 years, and you know, there's like some awkward tension and things like that. So yeah, it seems a bit interesting in that sense, that from my perspective as the reader, it feels like she's already at least like likes him quite a bit, as opposed to just like a best friend vibe kind of situation. But you know, having said that, it is fun and yeah, fun basically. Oh, there's one thing though, with this book, it jumps between like timelines, so it's like current time, and then the next chapter it might be like, oh, 10 years ago when they went on their summer trip or whatever it is. And for me, sometimes it gets a little bit annoying, just because there can be moments when a chapter ends at a point of the current timeline, and then I really want to know what happens next, like how Alex would respond, or you know, what they say next, or where they go to next. But the next chapter, it jumps back to like 10 years ago, or 9 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it is. So those bits, I guess, you know, it's those are needed, because you need to kind of figure out as the reader like how their relationship was before, how they were like super close, like really just love each other in such a like friendship way, and you would need that past information in order to understand, you know, what their relationship was in the past and how it's like right now, which is quite awkward at certain points. But even so, it's almost like it puts a little bit of a stopper in the book for me when that happens, because like, oh, we're going back 10 years now, okay, we need to like get into that things, and then we're gonna go back into the current timeline, which is what I really wanted to like know more about what's going on at those points. But you know, that's not a big thing, it's not a big deal. Like I said, it makes sense that we need to go back in time to understand more about both of their characters and things like that, and yeah, I do really enjoy it. It seems pretty fun so far, and I'm looking forward to reading more of it later today, or like right now, I guess. And I will give you an update soon. So quick update on my reading. It's now the next day, or like the day after. I don't really remember when it was that I last updated you guys. However, having said that, I have now finished You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I really liked the characters. I really liked how the book, or like I really liked how it showed like how the two are friends, and like at first I was, like I mentioned before, I was kind of like hoping it wouldn't jump back and forth so much with the timeline and stuff, and having to go back in time to know about their like previous holidays together and things like that. But after you know, a few more of those, I actually really enjoyed that side of the book. I really enjoyed knowing more about their friendship, and it makes it feel more alive when you're able to actually see it in the pages and it describes it to you. And yeah, it was just good. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it. I would say that you know, with all like romance books, there's always that, as they would call it, the third act conflict, which usually occurs like 3/4 of the way through the book. This, I would say, probably happened around 80% into the book, and things were going really well, and I was just like, what's going to happen? Like, what is going to be the conflict? And the conflict occurred, and yeah, I didn't like it. I think that was the only thing that I didn't really like about this book. It was that conflict. It didn't really feel like a strong enough reason for, you know, for it to be like a conflict between the two friends. So that would be my only like issue with it, I would say, with the book itself. But having said that, like I said, I really enjoyed the book. The only other book that I've read by Emily Henry is Beach Read. I think it's called Beach Read, but I like this one more. I prefer this one over to Beach Read. I like this kind of friends to lovers kind of situation, and yeah, I just really enjoyed the story between Poppy and Alex. So definitely would recommend this as a book if you want something light, fun, and you want to read about two best friends and the shenanigans that they get up to when they're on vacation together. So yeah, so that's the book that I have just finished. I'm still feeling out of breath and all that kind of stuff, so that's not good. But anyway, the next book I think I'm going to go for is Really Good, actually, by Monica Hazley. I don't remember if I mentioned what this book is about at the beginning of the video, but yeah, it just basically, I think I did actually. So it's following this woman who has recently been divorced, and she is kind of discovering what it is like to be a new divorcee, like in her first year of being divorced, what it's actually like to be like single again, and the kind of things that comes along with it, I suppose. That's my guess what this book is about. And yeah, I guess it's like, I don't know, the title's like really good actually, but it's got like crying eyes, or like kind of, you know, teary eyes at the front, so that seems kind of interesting. It's probably one of those things where, you know, someone asks you, hey, how you doing? And your first instinct is just to be like, yeah, I'm good, or yeah, I'm alright, even though you feel like shit inside. So I think that's kind of what the front cover is referring to. But anyway, that's the next book that I'm going to read in this vlog, and I will give you an update on this. I'm not sure how popular this is, but I think in like the bookstores it's like one of those ones that they put in as a popular book to purchase. I obviously got this in the library, so you know, I didn't actually buy it in the bookstore. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. See you in a bit. Right, so quick update from my end. It's been a couple of days since I have last vlogged because I am very lazy, so that's always good. I basically am not going to read Really Good, actually, because, right, let me tell you why. Okay, so this is why. So I primarily read fantasy books. So I read as my genre, I love fantasy books, but when I get a bit tired of fantasy, as one may, I would use I would read a romance or contemporary fiction or a thriller as a palette, just keep it, mixed up, it's like mix up. So that's what I usually do. And I don't usually read a non-fiction and non-fantasy book one after the other. And in this case, I don't think I'm going to do this book really good, actually. Here we are. I'm not going to do this book any justice. If I'm going to read it now, I think I would end up giving it a lower score than I would normally do, just because I've read it at the wrong time. Does that make sense? But basically, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to read that book in this vlog. I'm going to read or continue reading Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. It's a fantasy book. I want to read a fantasy book, basically. I'm a big mood reader, so I'm reading this. I'm not going to read the other one. I'm going to read this because I want to. And yeah, and at the moment I am maybe a third of the way through, and in this story, basically, we are following a few characters. There are different like POVs. We are following Kizun, who is a god killer. She basically, in this world, gods exist in a form where you can actually see them. I think what it is like the more people that worship them, and that the more people give, like, what are they called? Gifts and blessings? Is it blessings? Maybe not blessings, but like the more that people worship a god, the more that god will become a actual being, and they would need to like have a shrine and everything as well. So that's what this world is about. However, in this world, some of the gods can be quite mischievous. They can be quite, like, they would bargain with the humans. They would kind of cause problems for the humans as well, and they would bargain in a way where they'll be like, okay, how about you humans sacrifice something or someone to me, and in return I will grant you a wish, or I will grant you a blessing of some sort. So there's like that, those kind of gods. I don't think all of them are like this, but at least most of them that we have encountered so far, or like the one that we have been introduced that has been like, you know, removed pretty quickly in the story, are kind of like that. Or is kind of like that. And our main character, Kirsten, she is a god killer, so that is her role. Her role is to kill gods in this story. So we follow her, and we also follow another character called Inara. She is a young girl who, for whatever reason, has a little god attached to her, bound to her. The god is called Skedi, in the form of like a little creature that has like horns or antenna or something, but like can change his size, but like not like massive, but like can change himself into like as small as a little mouse, into like as big as a like rabbit kind of thing. And he and her are like bound together for whatever reason, and they're basically trying to figure out why that is, like what's going on, why they're bound together, what's happened, and that kind of stuff. And he doesn't have a shrine either, so it's like, how is he able to actually survive and be a being when he hasn't got a shrine at all? So there's like all these different questions that they both are trying to find answers to, and therefore they search out for the god killer to hopefully see if she can help them. So that's like this little story that's going on at the moment. We also have another character called Elo. He is a bit like more mysterious in his background story. We don't really get to know too much about him. What we do know about him is that he was a knight, and he used to be really close friends with the king, and he fought alongside the king when there was a war between the gods and the humans. But then in the last war that happened, he had like a disagreement, or at least that's what the king has been, like a disagreement between the two of them, in which that the knight Elo ended up kind of leaving the king, leaving his knight service to live a wait, oh my goodness, the more I say this word, give me a second. Solitary, you know what I mean. Jeez, you know what I mean. A quiet life. He basically tried to escape to live a peaceful and quiet life as a bread maker. But then one day the king comes and finds him. They have a nice little chat. But then Elo realizes that the king needs his help. The king has some sort of illness or like an injury of some sort, and he needs Elo's help to try and remove it, or try to like speak to the gods to understand what's going on, something along the lines of that. And therefore, you know, with them being like old friends and stuff like that, Elo's like, okay, you know, he agrees to go on this journey to this place where I think gods still exist, or like either like gods still exist, or like where the last war had occurred. Something I don't remember too much, to be honest. My memory is terrible, but it's something along the lines of that basically. And therefore he goes on this journey as well, and those characters, Kissen, Inara, who are together at this point, like working together to try and figure out what's going on with her, and Elo, they're all going to the same place to try and find answers to questions that they have. And they kind of I guess, meet at a certain point. And that's where I am at the moment. So that is kind of the story that, as I understand, of this book. I read this maybe like a few weeks ago. No, not a few weeks ago, that's a lie. Maybe like a couple of weeks ago, a week ago. I kind of stopped reading it, not because I didn't want to read it, but because I am a mood reader, as I mentioned, and I needed like a non-fantasy book at that point for whatever reason. So I dropped it. Well, I didn't drop it, but like I stopped reading it. I put it on pause. We'll call it that. I put it on pause, but now I want to pick it back up, and I feel like this is the perfect time to pick it back up, and therefore I am going to pick it back up, as I said 50 times. So that's the plan for today. I'm hoping I will be able to finish this in this vlog, because I can't end this vlog with only having finished one book. I can't. I don't want to. That's just me. That's just me being weird. But that's the plan, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'll give you an update when I have an update. Peace. So I got a quick update. I am obviously not wearing any makeup because I don't want to wear any makeup, so that's that. Anyway, update on God Killer. I am on page 200. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm on page 200 on my Kindle. And I guess without spoiling anything, I'm really enjoying it. It's like a journey kind of fantasy where they're trying to get from like point A to point B. There is a bigger kind of situation going on at the moment, but the main kind of focus is that they're trying to get to point B, and then when they're at point B, they are going to try and resolve some of the issues that they have at the moment. We're still following the four main characters, obviously including the little god Skedi. It's going really well with the book. It's like moving at a really nice pace. You get to as well like discover more about each of the characters, because you're following like a POV, like a different POV every chapter, and the chapters most of them are relatively short as well, which is really nice. It makes the book feel like it's going quicker as well. And I don't like dawdle, is that the word? Dawdle? They don't kind of like stick to one situation for too long. They do kind of make the progress the story along quite nicely, which I really enjoy. So I'm never like bored or anything like that, which is always a bonus with any book really. And I'm really liking all of the characters. I didn't think that I would, but all of the characters, you get to know a bit more about their background story. You get to know a bit more about, who they are with their personalities, their beliefs, their flaws. I think that's a big thing about the characters in this, is that, and like how the author has written the characters as well, is that they have flaws. None of them are perfect in any way, shape or form, and I like that. It makes the characters a bit more alive, and it makes the story a lot more interesting as well, because you see what they do in different situations, what they say as well in different situations, that kind of stuff. So I really like that about the book. It's very interesting, and yeah, for sure, very much enjoying it. And looking at how this is going so far and how much I'm enjoying the book, I probably will be reading the second one, which I don't really know what it's called, but it's looking good, guys. It is looking good. Maybe I should put makeup on. Yeah. So we're gonna go read a bit more and give you a quick update. it's now a bit later in the day. Well, actually no, it's really late in the evening now. It's like 9:30ish. I have my voice just went. I have finished Godkiller now. Here it is, here's the physical book, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed up to the ending. Like, it was really gripping. It was very like fast-paced, exciting, lots of action happening, and it was, how do I put this? Like, it was just a really nice fantasy novel for sure. Like a really solid start to what I can only imagine it to be like a really good fantasy series. I don't know how many books there are going to be in this. I'm actually hoping it'll be a trilogy. I know that there's a second book out now, so it is at least a duology. I do hope that it is at least a trilogy. I feel like there could be lots to be written about this story that's happening right now. I can imagine there could be like a lot of politics happening, but between the like humans and the gods, and like, you know, things that will happen, come into fruition. I can't pronounce that word. You know what I'm trying to say. In this story, after what has happened at the last like 80% of the book, and it was just such a great story. It's something that it had such an interesting kind of concept to it as well, which is what I really liked about this book. And like I mentioned before, I love the characters and how not only their flaws, character building, personalities, background story, that kind of stuff, but also their kind of growing relationship and friendship between each other as well. I thought it was really like written like really nicely. You could really feel and see their relationships and their friendship like blossoming and bonding, and especially between like Kissen and Inara. I really like that. I like that kind of bond that they had. You know, first they didn't really like each other. She just thought of her like annoying and stuff, and Inara was kind of scared of her and thought that Kissen was a bit like what's the word I'm like, my brain is gone, but the word I'm looking for is that Inara thought Kissen was a bit stubborn, always angry, in like her own little moods and stuff like that, and not being able to read her very well, that kind of stuff. But they had, you know, grown to be closer throughout this whole journey that they've been together, in a way that I could see her like Kissen maybe not being like a motherly kind of role to Inara, but definitely like a sister, like an older sister, like protecting Inara, making sure that she's safe, that kind of stuff. So I really liked that that relationship there. That was really lovely to kind of read and like feel through the pages as well. So that was really nice to read, and I'm definitely going to read the next one, Sunbringer, I think it's called. I think that's going to be quite an interesting one, and I believe it's going to be a bit longer as well, because this one was a bit short. It was about 300 pages, and that's another thing as well. It was only 300 pages, but they managed to, the writer Hannah Kano, she managed to pack a lot of things in that 300 pages. I actually almost feel like it could be a bit longer. Some parts of it could have been maybe explained a bit more background story with regards to like the god of war, or like, you know, the war that happened between the gods and the war that happened between like the humans and the gods. You know, I guess that was just the one thing probably that I would say that I would have wanted a bit more of, is actually for the fantasy book to be a bit longer. I love my fantasy books to be like long and like chunky and stuff, so that will probably be my only thing about that. But that will be the end of this vlog. I have read People We Meet on Vacation, aka You and Me on Vacation. Really enjoyed that book. And then also I have read Godkiller, and again really enjoyed that book. So all in all, this week's reading has been really good. I've read 2 books that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I'll definitely be reading more from Emily Henry, and I'll also be reading the next book to the Godkiller, which is actually called, what is the Oh, the Fallen Gods trilogy. Ew. Right. Okay, that's answered my question then. It's going to be a trilogy. Perfect. Okay. Nice. I'm very excited about that. So it's going to be a third book in this. Nice. And I think I mentioned this before. Absolute beautiful cover. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this vlog. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.